Won't it be cool to print something in 3D instead of printing a boring 2D paper? Well, guess what? 3D printing is actually available and is used to create miracles, from creating 3D figurines to building houses and medical implants. 3D printing simply refers to creating three-dimensional objects using a printer, but not an ordinary printer. A 3D printer is a machine that creates an object by depositing material layer by layer. This process is also known as additive manufacturing. But before printing, we need to create a 3D model using specialized 3D software, and one of the most common 3D software is called Blender. But if you're not skilled in creating 3D models, you can always search online for pre-existing models made by others. But using a 3D software allows you to draw a 3D model, and when you finish creating that model, you can move on to the printing part, where you'll use a 3D printer that will build your 3D model by adding successive layers of material. But the thing is that there's not only one type of 3D printing technology. There are several types out there, and each type differs from the other in terms of the material used to build the model, its price, its speed in making 3D model, and the industry it is used in. So let's go ahead and list the four main types of 3D printers: Fused Deposition Modeling or FDM, Stereolithography or SLA, Selective Laser Sintering or SLS, and Digital Light Processing or DLP. As I said earlier, each type of 3D printer uses a different technology and process to create 3D objects, and each has its own advantages and limitations. So now let us jump in and explain these four types of 3D printers. FDM is a popular and widely used 3D printing technology. In FDM, the printer takes a plastic filament, then melts it and extrudes it layer by layer using an extruder. The melted plastic is deposited onto a build platform and solidifies, forming a solid layer of the object. The process is repeated layer by layer until the object is completed. What makes FDM popular is its affordability. Actually, FDM is the #1 choice for home users due to its low cost, and is used for beginners that are just getting started with 3D printing. However, FDM is quite slow and offers fewer accuracy and resolution than other printing technologies. Stereolithography or SLA is a type of 3D printing technology that uses a laser to harden resins to plastics layer by layer to build an object. Resins looks like liquid. It is poured onto the container of the printer. Once the resin is poured in, the build platform lowers until it squishes the resin. Then, a laser beam is directed onto the surface of the liquid resin, which is sensitive to light. The laser traces a cross-section of the digital model onto the surface of the resin, curing and solidifying it. The build platform then descends by a precise amount, and a fresh new layer of liquid resin is spread on top. This process is repeated layer by layer until the entire object is completed. SLA is known for producing high-resolution and detailed parts with excellent surface finish and accurate dimensional tolerances. The material used in SLA are also typically very strong and durable, making it ideal for products that require a high level of detail and accuracy. However, SLA can be more expensive and time-consuming compared to other 3D printing technologies. Selective Laser Sintering or SLS is a type of 3D printing technology that uses a high-powered laser to fuse small particles of plastic such as nylon, which is the most common material used, metal, ceramic, or glass powder into a solid object. The process starts by spreading a thin layer of powder on the build platform. Then a laser unit directs a beam to a mirror that will reflect the beam to hit the powder and fuse particles together, using a galvanomotor system which will rotate the mirror to direct the beam into different areas on the build platform. The build platform then descends by a small amount, and another layer of powder is spread on top. The laser then fuses the particles again, following the pattern of the next layer. This process is repeated layer by layer until the entire object is completed. SLS is known for producing strong and durable parts that can be used for a wide range of applications, including prototyping, tooling, and low-volume production runs. SLS can be more expensive and have lower resolution compared to other 3D printing technologies. Digital Light Processing or DLP is a type of 3D printing technology that uses a digital light projector to harden resins layer by layer to build an object. This reminds us of SLA that also uses resins to build an object. Are they actually the same? In DLP, a light projector projects over the build platform where the liquid resin is placed, which is sensitive to light. The light solidifies the resin, forming a solid layer. The build platform then descends by a precise amount and adds a fresh new layer of liquid resin. This process is repeated layer by layer until the entire object is completed, while SLA, instead of light, uses laser, and that laser traces each layer one at a time, not all layers at once like DLP does. DLP is known for its speed and high build rate, as it can harden the entire layer at once. This makes it a good choice for large or complex models that require a fast build time. However, compared to SLA, DLP has lower resolution, because SLA solidifies the resin using a laser, but DLP is cheaper than SLA, but that doesn't mean it's not expensive compared to other 3D printing technologies. Let us recap everything we've learned in this video. 3D printers of any type uses a certain technology to build a 3D model. The 3D model must be first built in a digital way using a 3D software or buying existing models built by others. Then, using a 3D printer like FDM, SLA, SLS or DLP, which each one has its own technique in building a 3D model. FDM uses plastic filament, which it will melt it, and using an extruder to steer it on the build platform, which eventually will solidify. SLA uses liquid resin and using a laser that will solidify or harden the resin. SLS uses neon, which a laser unit directs a laser to a reflective mirror and using a motor to steer it and point out different areas on the build platform. And DLP, similar to SLA, uses liquid resin, but instead of laser, it uses light to harden the resin all at once. And this is it on 3D printing and how it works. If you are encouraged to start 3D printing, make sure to start with FDM because it is low cost and good for beginners and for someone who is starting out in this technology. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe for more tech related videos. And now, allow me to invite you in clicking one of these end screens that will pop up right now. I hope to see you in one of them.